Have you ever thought of abortion as a business? Millions of homes across America, through the internet and television, are being sold on the goodness of abortion. Today, my guests are going to share some eye-opening examples of just how far the abortion industry will go to market their product. Stay with us. David Kupelian has been a journalist for 30 years. He's the managing editor of WorldNetDaily.com and the author of The Marketing of Evil. In his book, David writes how pro-abortion advocates lied in order to sell America on unrestricted abortion. I sat down with David to discuss how these activists, with the aid of the media, knowingly used false information and statistics to legalize abortion.
The way abortion was originally made legal in this country was a group of people, let's call them the pro-abortion vanguard, got together. They formed an organization called NARAL. And one of the members, one of the founders, was Bernard Nathanson, medical doctor, whom I interviewed. And he admits that what they did to get abortion legalized was they simply lied. They made up statistics. They made up poll results that never existed. And that way they convinced the media that abortion was a good and progressive and enlightened thing, and the media in turn convinced the public. They said that there are 5,000 to 10,000 American women that are dying each and every year from the effects of illegal botched abortions. There were about 200 to 250, but the lie of the 10,000 took root in Americans' consciousness, and they believe, wow, we have to change the abortion law.
So would you say that the media had an agenda to further the legalization of abortion?
Yes, and that they were sympathetic to it. Another one they were told was that there are 1 million abortions every year, illegally. Okay. The truth is, according to Nathanson, what he told me, there were only about 100,000 every year. But they multiplied it by 10 in order to exaggerate their case that we really need to make abortion legal. And furthermore, what they did was they said that once abortion is legal, you won't have any more abortions than you already have. But the reality is that there were 100,000 abortions a year then, and there are well over 1 million a year now. So making it legal has had the effect of making it okay and moral and something that's a good choice for people to make.
They had to sell abortion to the doctors. Not only the concept, but sell them on performing abortions. How did they do that?
Well, a guy going to medical school is under a lot of pressure by his superiors there, who basically hold the sword of Damocles over his head whether he's going to ever be a doctor or not. If you don't do abortions, you're not a complete doctor. You're not a complete OB, okay, or OBGYN, and therefore you need to learn to do the procedure, and you need to get out there and do it for the sake of women.
Dr. Tony Levatino used to perform first and second trimester abortions. That is, until the death of his 5-year-old daughter realigned his priorities on the value of life. When I spoke with Tony, he talked about how he used to view abortion and shared his perspective on how abortionists justify performing the procedure.
When I was in my residency training program in the late 70s, if you asked me just generically or politically, what I thought about the issue, I would not have hesitated to say, look, I'm pro-choice. This was a decision between a woman or a doctor, and no one else, including the baby's dad, had anything to say about it. When you're pro-choice, you have this mindset that says, well, I'm here to help my patient. But you're not thinking of that baby as a patient at all. You're completely ignoring that aspect of it. Your patient is that young lady. And, you're going to help her get through college, or not be a single mom, or complete her, whatever it is, whatever her reasoning is, and whatever is motivating her to come there, you're there to help. And people don't understand that, but there is a certain psychological distance that doctors always put between them and their patients. They have to. You couldn't function otherwise. And you learn that from day one in medical school.
When we return, we'll hear how abortion has grown into a multi-billion-dollar business.
Look around you. We're surrounded by people who courageously face difficult obstacles life has thrown in their paths. Tune in each week to meet people who show there are positive, godly solutions to tough, critical situations. This Emmy Award-winning show tackles challenging life issues such as abortion, stem cell research, and adoption, and shows every human life is valuable and precious. Join us for inspiring stories of people facing life head on.
Today, the abortion industry is a multi-billion-dollar business. The evidence shows the main goal of pro-abortion marketers has become making millions of dollars, not counseling women to choose the option best suited for them. Carol Everett is the former owner of 2 abortion facilities. She agrees abortion is a business, and the more you sell, the more profit you make. Her top priority was selling abortions any way she could.
I made $25 for each abortion. Last month we did 545 abortions, which meant my last month's income was $13,625. But I wanted to be a millionaire, and I had the vision. We only needed to do 40,000 abortions a year for me to be a millionaire. And most of the large clinics run in chains. We had 2 abortion clinics open. Our plan was to open 3 more abortion clinics for a total of 5 surrounding the Dallas-Fort Worth area on major highways. We were going to be the McDonald's of the abortion industry, and what we did was we kept elaborate records of where our patients came from, and when 200 women were coming in down one highway, we would open an abortion clinic there. It would pay for itself in the first month.
Wow.
And that was my goal for 1983. To have 3 more abortion clinics open and be a millionaire in '84. We tried to prove to every one of them that abortion was the answer and that it would take care of all their problems. We tried very hard to sell an abortion to every woman who walked through that front door.
So it was a business.
It was a huge business.
Pure and simple, it was dollars.
Well, we didn't put the doctor's money in. We kept 2 sets of books, our money and the doctor's money. And we were putting about $250,000 a month in the bank. So, you know, it's a huge business.
As the former director of Planned Parenthood in Bryan, Texas, Abby Johnson participated in monthly budget and planning meetings. During one such meeting, Abby's eyes were open to the true agenda of what she thought was a family planning business, offering real options and counseling.
Every month, we would see that the Family Planning Corporation, which family planning is everything but abortion, and we would see that number for the family planning, that budget number, just kept getting more and more in the negative. And it was really discouraging. But, you know, they would say, but thank goodness for our abortion centers because they're keeping us afloat. And so while, you know, our family planning may be $660,000 in the hole, our abortion centers were $900,000 over budget. And then my boss started really hounding me about increasing our abortion numbers at my facility. And she said, you know, we've just got to get more women in here for abortions. And when I looked at our client goals, I saw that my number of abortions that they wanted me to do had increased by almost 60%. And I said, okay, wait guys, isn't this kind of the opposite of what we want to do here? I mean, shouldn't our family planning numbers be so high that our abortions would be decreasing? I mean, isn't that what Planned Parenthood is about? Aren't we about prevention? Aren't we about, you know, making abortion rare? Isn't that what we say we're about? And my supervisor said, you know, Abby, you've really got to get your priorities straight. Abortion needs to be your priority because that's where our money is.
Wow.
And that was really when I thought, this mission that I have been so diligently working for, the mission that they say they promote is not really what they're trying to promote. It's false. It's a farce.
Now, your role inside Planned Parenthood was to counsel women going in for abortions. Do you believe that Planned Parenthood provides good, adequate counseling for women?
No.
Why not?
They do not really give them informed consent about the abortion procedure itself. They do not adequately tell them about the risks of abortion. They do not give them options on the day that they come in for their abortion procedure. They do not give enough training to the women that are talking.
They are simply salespeople. They're set up to use abortion to overcome every single objection. They're not there to say, okay, let's talk about adoption today. Let's talk about placing this baby for adoption, continuing this pregnancy in any way. That's never talked about. These are pro-choice people who never mention life. So they're selling their product, they're overcoming the objection with the choice of abortion, and they're taking that woman down the hall. Most of the abortion counselors simply say, do you have any questions? She has the, is it a baby question? Does it hurt question? And here you've got to sign these forms. Do you have any questions? She signs the form. She doesn't read them most of the time. She doesn't even read them. And she's in the line for the procedure.
They don't make money on adoption referrals. They don't make money on prenatal information. They make money on abortion.
In a moment, we'll take a look at and discuss some television ads promoting abortion.
Whether you're a student needing answers, a parent needing help, or a concerned citizen wanting to make a difference, Life Issues Institute has the resources you need to put your values into action. Life Issues Institute is an international educational organization committed to protecting innocent human life. Life Issues Institute knows what it takes. That's why millions throughout the world turn here for help. Life Issues Institute has authored more pro-life publications than any other entity in the world, and its materials are printed in over 30 languages. Radio broadcasts, newsletters, and a website filled to the brim with the answers you're looking for are just a click away. Go to facinglife.tv and click on the link to Life Issues Institute to find out more about how you can change the heart of a nation.
In marketing wars, the group framing the debate almost always wins. Early marketers of abortion achieve this by diverting attention from what abortion does to a mother and child. Instead, they focused on the newly created issue of choice. Author David Kupelian discusses the images and the language abortion marketers use to gain customers. David, as far as the abortion industry and pro-abortion activists, what are some of the key phrases or marketing techniques that we see today?
Well, the big one is the whole idea of choice, okay? Because the abortion movement early on recognized that it was a very difficult thing to do effective public relations and marketing on death. They simply changed the subject to a brand new issue that hadn't existed before called choice. And the issue became, who's going to decide? So therefore, a typical marketing slogan would be, who's going to make this most sensitive and important decision of a woman's life? The woman and her doctor, or politicians and bureaucrats in Washington?
What language are they using to sell abortion today?
The wording and the imagery is more notable for what it doesn't include than what it does include. You will not see, for instance, an image of a pregnant mother. Okay? They won't even use the word mother. It's women, product of conception, pregnancy. Everything is not only clinical, it is made to avoid the use of anything that points in any way that awakens the consciousness of the prospective customer to the fact that she's about to end the life of her offspring. I'll give you one example. The word fetus. It's used in a way to dehumanize the unborn baby. They won't say baby, They won't say offspring, they won't say child, but they'll say the fetus.
They all ask two questions. One, is it a baby? And we allowed our counselors, who were just salespeople, to say anything they wished. It could be a blood clot, it could be a product of conception, it could be a group of cells. We didn't care what they called it as long as they said it wasn't a baby. And then they said, does it hurt? And we said, no, it doesn't hurt. And we knew we were lying. And this is how we used a visual aid to prove to them that it didn't hurt. We would say to this scared young woman, your uterus is a muscle. It's a cramp to open it, a cramp to close it. And we would open and close our hand. And when we saw that she was opening and closing her hand to see if that hurt, we knew we had her. We'd convinced her it didn't hurt because she didn't hurt to open and close her hand. Abortion is a terribly painful procedure. It's an unnatural interruption of a natural process, and it does hurt. And it hurts more on a woman who is really not pregnant. And abortions are still being done on women who can be convinced they're pregnant even though they aren't.
David, let's look at a few ads by Planned Parenthood and those who sell these services, and then I'd like to get a little bit of your feedback as a result.
Sure.
Let's take a look at the first one.
Getting to work on time, shopping, being there for your family. So much to take care of and so little time. We know. We're Planned Parenthood. Through our counseling, education, and healthcare services, we've helped women make many choices. Now we're asking you to help us by signing a petition that says you support Planned Parenthood's work. So watch for the Planned Parenthood volunteer coming to your door. Together, we have the power to make our voices heard.
Okay, in that ad, David, how did you see Planned Parenthood selling abortion?
It's all atmospherics. Okay, the soft piano music in the background, the voice is just dripping with softness and kindness and understanding, and the graphics there, family around the in the kitchen, everything is warm, everything is to make you feel good, and they don't say anything about abortion, babies, killing babies. That's not anywhere near. Everything is just the feeling of a comfort. I feel comfortable with that.
All right, now let's take a look at the second one, see what you think about that.
Imagine that your healthcare clinic provides specialized quality services such as annual exams and cancer screenings that are affordable and convenient with or without insurance. Imagine that your healthcare clinic provides our schools with medically accurate health education to better inform our young people. Imagine that your healthcare clinic works with decision makers to guarantee access to comprehensive healthcare for everyone. Exceptional healthcare, honest education, and fearless advocacy. It's your Planned Parenthood clinic.
Okay, what stuck out in your mind with that particular ad?
It's slick. Imagine comprehensive health care. Everything is code. Quality health care, the doctors with the stethoscopes around the neck, which is the universal, insignia for being a professional physician. And there's two things girls want that are going into an abortion clinic like Planned Parenthood. They want to get rid of their pregnancy, but they also want to get out alive, okay? So it's important to them to have, competent professional care. And also implied in that is that they're going to get professional, objective counseling, okay? If you have somebody who's a doctor, she's a professional, you can have confidence in them for anything. We go to our doctor says we're going to have to cut this off of you, we're going to have to give you this medicine. You believe it because what do you know? You trust your doctor. So they're using not just women's rights and comprehensive this, but they're saying this is a doctor and they know better.
Coming up, my guests offer an opinion on what it'll take to overcome the abortion marketers' power over the American public.
Look around you. Every day, heroes abound in our country. We're surrounded by people who courageously face difficult obstacles life has thrown in their paths. Tune in each week to meet people who show there are positive, godly solutions to tough, critical situations. We'll tackle challenging life issues such as abortion, stem cell research, adoption, and abstinence, and show that every human life is valuable and precious. Join us for inspiring stories of people facing life head-on.
Our experts today believe, since the 1960s, America's culture and legal acceptance of abortion has been based on the lies, greed, and deception of abortion marketers. It's a story of horror, but also of hope. People like Carol, Abby, and Tony, who've provided thousands of abortions, say their conversions are a result of being exposed to reality. So maybe there's hope the rest of America will follow. All three of these people are working hard to inform America of the truth and to provide options to women considering abortion.
I think education is so important. If they understand it's a baby, they can't go have an abortion. And I can't tell you how many times, and I know it's happened to you, you go into a school and you talk, and the next thing you hear is, I was in that audience and heard you talk about that baby, the humanity of the baby, and I knew I couldn't kill my child, and I chose life. And here I am with this baby. I also believe it's important for people to understand that we love the woman. We love the mother. They don't know that we have over 4,000 organizations in this nation ministering all the way through the pregnancy and beyond, free of charge to that woman. That is the wave of the future. And I believe when women start to understand that there is another answer, that it's not just Planned Parenthood, that they will start coming to us. But I do not believe that any of us can do it alone. I believe what you're doing is vitally important. I believe that we've got to all work together to get there.
You've got a few minutes to communicate to a woman who's